The manipulator is the child who once discovered that if they could tilt the emotional mirror just right, the adults' faces would finally soften, the yelling would stop, the fridge would be restocked, and love, like sugar, would trickle down. Every time they won, they lost a square inch of their own reflection. The very dexterity that once kept them safe is now the invisible dagger that keeps every real connection bleeding. You're 9, maybe 10, seated at a dinner table that feels more like a chessboard. Dad's voice is a storm cloud. Mom's eyes are already raining. You notice that if you time the joke correctly, just after the thunder peaks but before the lightning hits, both adults exhale, the tension slackens, and for one shimmering second, you're not collateral damage, you're the airbag. So you rehearse that timing. You collect data on size, eye ticks, the speed at which beer bottles empty. You become the family's unofficial sound engineer, sliding emotional faders, auto-tuning conflict. Fast forward 2 decades, same reflex, new arena. Lovers, bosses, entire group chats. Only now the crowd doesn't applaud, it backs away, whispering that something feels off. The strategy that once lowered Dodd's fist is now raising everyone else's walls. The thing that saved you is the thing sabotaging you. Welcome to the psychology of people who manipulate. People like you, perhaps, who learned to steer ships by studying storms, but never learned how to dock in calm water. Manipulation, at its root, is not evil. It is precocious survival. Picture the developing brain as a sapling. Every time the household weather turns violent, the sapling twists toward the available light, growing gnarled bark around the wound. Neuropsychologists call this experience-dependent neuroplasticity. Dendrites reroute, the amygdala enlarges, the hippocampus, keeper of autobiographical memory, shrinks. The child becomes a cartographer of other people's cortisol levels, their own internal map blurs. 3 constructs anchor this adaptation. 1. Parentification reversal. Instead of receiving regulation, the child provides it. They become the parent to the adult's emotions, installing an external locus of control so early that by adulthood, "What do you need?" feels more like "hello" than a question. 2. Hypervigilant empathy. A turbocharged mirror-neuron system. They read micro-expressions at 240 hertz, while their own affect remains at 30, a cinematic oversampling that produces intimacy without reciprocity. 3. Instrumental identity. The default mode network, responsible for self-referential thought, never fully activates during interpersonal exchanges. The self is experienced as a means, not an end. Identity becomes a Swiss Army knife. Unfold the right blade for the right audience, never asking which attachment style is the main one. But here is the invisible grief. Every time you puppeteered an outcome, you puppeteered yourself out of the scene. The authentic self is placed in a tiny music box. Each time you crank the handle, a tinny version of you twirls, but the full orchestra is gagged. Carl Jung warned, the cry for the free personality always announces itself to be the cry for freedom from the oppressor, but in reality it is the unconscious wish to be rid of one's own tyrant. You became both tyrant and liberator in the same skin. The core fear? Rest, because rest equals exposure. If you stop adjusting the mirror, someone might see the crock that started in childhood and spiderwebbed across every subsequent performance. So even Sunday mornings become board meetings. What will breakfast require of me? Simple texts, "Hey, you free?" feel like subpoenas. The body forgets how to unclench. The nervous system keeps a tab open at 2 a.m. for catastrophes that never file receipts. You, they, we become adults who say "I'm fine" in a voice so soothing the other person hears a lullaby, while inside a 5-alarmed fire burns drywall. Schedule breakups like press releases, timing the disclosure for maximum sympathy and minimum accountability. Keep a covert spreadsheet of favors owed, not out of malice but metric. If the emotional stock market dips, here are my blue chip memories to cash in. over-deliver at work, then feel inexplicably enraged when the promotion lands elsewhere because stealth generosity that no one asked for still expects dividends. Experience boundaries as betrayal. Saying no feels like abandoning the child you who once mastered the art of yes to keep the walls from collapsing. Romantic intimacy triggers a strange boredom once the partner is finally secure. The nervous system mistakes peace for death and manufactures a crisis to reintroduce adrenaline. These are coping strategies, not personality traits. The first step is not to moralize, but to witness. Catch yourself in the micro moment when your tone shifts half a semitone to elicit reassurance. Name it. Ah, here's the old conductor raising his baton. That naming is the unlearning. The pattern cannot survive the spotlight of non-judgmental attention. It relies on the cloak of automaticity. Healing from this is not demolition, it is renovation. Start with inner child reparenting. Place a hand on your chest, breathe 4 counts in, 6 counts out, mimicking the ventral vagal tone that was missing in the original chaos. Whisper, "You no longer need to audition for safety." Repeat until the body, not just the mind, nods. Progress to shadow work. Write letters to the people you covertly steered. Burn them. Watch smoke carry away the guilt without erasing the lesson. Notice how the ashes assemble soil. Something can grow here. Practice choosing softness. Send a text that contains 0 strategic advantage. Order the meal you actually crave even if your partner hates cilantro. Allow a silence to stretch until it stops feeling like a trap. Remember Dostoevsky. Above all, don't lie to yourself. The man who lies to himself and listens to his own lie comes to a point where he cannot distinguish the truth within him or around him, and so loses all respect for himself and for others. Tell the truth one small cavity at a time. First to yourself, then to one trusted witness, then to the world. You will not become a different person. You will become the person who was always underneath the strategy, porous, generative, alive. The goal is not to be fixed, but to be whole. If this video found the cracked music box in you, twist the lid open. Let the full orchestra play off-key if it must, but play. Share this with someone whose mirror is still angled too sharply, and subscribe for more essays that refuse to treat survival like a sin. Because the same hands that once manipulated can learn to simply hold and be held in the open, terrifying, magnificent light of mutual choice.